You ever hear the name Jack Carver whispered in a saloon? Folks say it like a prayer or a curse, never quite sure which it is. Out near Deadman's Ridge, they say his shadow still rides when the wind gets mean and the coyotes fall quiet. This is the story of a man who tried to bury his past, but the past, it don't stay buried. Jack Carver wasn't born bad, but the West doesn't care much for where you start, only how far you're willing to go. He rode with a gang called the Hollow Spurs, cold-blooded killers, every one of them, but Jack. He was the most feared outlaw in the West, who could take out men with speed and efficiency, but he had a code. Never shot a man who didn't earn it. He didn't kill for fun, didn't take from the poor, and never touched a woman or child. Some called it weakness, others saw it for what it was, a code carved out of the fire and grit of survival. But there was a code to Jack. He didn't kill for sport, didn't hurt the helpless, only went after men who had it coming, crooked lawmen, killers and thieves who made widows and orphans. Even in a world gone mad, Jack held to a strange kind of honor. The rest of the gang resented it, whispered behind his back, but none of them dared say it aloud. Not after what happened in Carson's Gulch, when 5 bounty hunters tried to drag Jack in. He dropped them all before the first man's boots hit the ground. It was said Jack Carver could clear leather faster than a man could blink, and shoot straighter in the dark than most could at high noon. He'd stand alone in a gunfight and walk away without a scratch. That kind of skill, it don't just scare enemies, it scares brothers-in-arms too. Folks called him the Hollow Man, 'cause when he stared at you, it was like looking into a grave. Silas Graves, the gang's iron-fisted leader, kept a wary eye on Jack. He saw the look in Jack's eyes, the look of a man who wasn't afraid of dying, only of living wrong. And Silas knew, if Jack ever turned on the Hollow Spurs, none of them would live to see the next sunrise. But all that changed the day he met Eleanor. She worked at a way station near San Miguel, brought him water, patched up a busted hand, never flinched once when he told her who he was, said, even a hollow man can still be filled. Jack walked away from the outlaw life for Eleanor, said goodbye to blood and fire. But before he left, he made Silas a promise. You don't come looking for me, and I won't come looking for you. Silas agreed. He had no desire to test fate. Jack married Eleanor, bought a little cabin tucked between cottonwoods and sandstone cliffs, built her a swing out back, and named their mutt dog Boone, half hound, half rascal. They grew corn, kept chickens, and on Sundays Jack read to her by the fire with Boone at their feet. He never raised a gun again. Not for 10 long years. Not even when Eleanor got sick. Some say it was lung fever, others say her heart just gave out. Jack buried her under the old tree where she liked to paint, carved her name with his own blade, and promised her he'd never go back to who he was. Boone kept him company after that. That dog, scruffy and loyal, became the last tether to a life Jack swore to protect. He'd walk the same trails Eleanor used to paint. The dog padding along beside him, he'd speak to her as if she was still there, reading her poetry and carving little wooden figures for the shelf above the hearth. But some oaths, they ain't made to be kept forever. It was late spring when the stranger rode up. Young, cocky, lean, with a twitchy hand, said his name was Levi McCade, claimed he rode with the Hollow Spurs now, said he heard of Jack Carver, the legend, said he needed help taking down a sheriff who'd wronged him. Jack didn't even let the boy finish. Told him to ride out and not come back. But Levi, he didn't like being told no. 3 nights later, Jack woke to Boone's growl, flames in the barn, shadows moving. He grabbed the shotgun off the mantel and stepped outside into hell. They'd come for him. Levy and 3 more from the old gang thought the Hollow Man had gone soft, but when Jack opened fire, they learned the devil still knew how to dance. The first man caught buckshot in the chest and crumpled like a rag doll. The second tried to circle around and got dropped with a clean shot to the temple. Jack took a round to the ribs, went down on one knee, blood already soaking through his shirt, but he didn't stop. He drew his sidearm, fired blind through the smoke, and hit the third square in the gut. That one screamed for his mama before the fire silenced him. Levi ran laughing like a hyena, threw a lantern into the house as he fled. The fire caught fast. Curtains, floorboards, the roof, it all went up like dry tinder. Jack limped through smoke and ash, choking, crawling toward the kitchen. That's where he found Boone. The dog had tried to drag Eleanor's portrait out the fire. Guy'd try. Jack held Boone in his arms and felt something inside him break, something old and black and full of teeth. Grief turned to fury, and fury to purpose. He buried Boone beside Eleanor. Then he went to the root cellar and dug up the iron box he swore he'd never open. Inside, 2 6-shooters, black steel, ivory grips, a black duster coat, a knife with his initials burned into the bone handle, and beneath it all, a leather-bound list of names, those who'd crossed him once, those who might again. The Hollow Man was coming back. Word spread fast. The Hollow Man was riding again. Every saloon, every whorehouse, every bounty board from Dodge to Yuma, lit up with whispers. He's alive, and he's looking for the hollow spurs. The gang scattered like rats. Ned Colohan tried hiding in a brothel outside Bisbee. Jack kicked the door in, shot him mid-embrace. The girl screamed. Jack tipped his hat and walked out. In Tucson, Pike holed up with hired guns. Jack spent 2 days on the rooftops, marking patterns. He slipped in through a skylight, dropped dynamite in the chimney, and blew the place to pieces. Killed 3 in the blast. Pike crawled out burning and got 1 mercy bullet. Clay Snakebite Rudd ran to Tombstone, bought off lawman. Didn't matter. Jack cornered him in the stables. A fast draw. 2 shots, 1 to the leg, 1 to the throat. With each man, Jack left 1 question. Who broke the pact? The answer came in a hushed name, Silas Graves. Levi had holed up with Silas in Perdition Bluff. By now, the bounty on Jack's head had doubled. Bounty hunters came like vultures. One tried to bury a blade in his back near Santa Fe. Another poisoned his canteen. The Hollow Man outlived them all. A man named Fowler, a bounty hunter out of Kansas, tracked Jack to a mountain pass and laid an ambush with tripwires and blasting powder. Jack caught wind, turned the trap, and left Fowler hanging upside down from a tree alive, with a note pinned to his chest. Next one dies. That's when Marshal Beauregard Finch found him again. You're making a mess, Jack. Jack lit a smoke. No bigger than the one they made of my home. I ain't here to stop you, the marshal said, but Silas Graves, that man's untouchable now. Runs half the law east of Durango, got his claws in judges, rail bosses, even a bishop. Jack just stared into the flames. Then I'll burn down the whole damn church. Finch sighed. If you're going through with this, you'll need help. So he gave it names, maps, supply routes, even pulled a few strings to get Jack safe passage through hostile county lines. And from that day on, the marshal didn't just turn a blind eye, he lit the path. Silas Graves had fortified himself in a desert stronghold called Perdition Bluff, a ghost town turned fortress, with mercenaries, Gatling guns and snipers in every tower. Rumor had it he slept in a stone church, with 3 loaded rifles and a Bible by the door. Jack spent 2 weeks scouting, learning every crack in the stone. He cut off supply lines, poisoned the well, sowed fear among the guards. They started turning on each other. He left messages carved in wood and walls. You broke the pact. Then he came at dawn. Jack and the marshal infiltrated by night. Silas's fortress was lit with torchlight. Levi hid behind walls, sick with dread. Men whispered of Jack in corners. Some deserted. Others shook. The assault was swift. Gunfire like a storm. Jack shot the snipers. Finch lobbed dynamite. They moved like ghosts through fire. Inside the chapel, Jack met Silas, and Levi couldn't be far away. He faced Silas in the old church, bullet holes in the stained glass, sunlight bleeding through. You broke the pact, Jack said. Silas, sweating, backing toward the altar, whispered, You left. I had to keep control. Jack holstered one gun, drew his knife. You should have kept your mouth shut. The fight was brutal. No words, just blood and silence. They crashed through pews. Jack took a blade to the shoulder. Silas caught a punch that dislocated his jaw. It ended with Jack driving the knife into Silas's chest beneath the cross. Silas gasped. It didn't have to be like this. Jack whispered, You made sure it did. Just then, the marshal comes in with Levi in tow and said, I heard you were looking for a fellow that fit this description. The marshal tipped his hat to Jack and walked out. Levi trembled. I didn't know what you were. Jack, slowly sauntering up to him, says in a low growl, You do now. Jack backed him into the altar. I always thought the stories people told of you were just old campfire tales, Levi quietly said. Jack raised his gun. And now you know. One shot. Just as they say, Jack Carver vanished after Perdition Bluff. Some say he rides, cleaning out the rot where law won't go. Others say he's gone, finally at peace. But every so often, a wicked man disappears, and the wind carries a whisper. The hollow man rides again, and his justice ain't done yet.